Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and this is my Back to Beauty No Buy Year. And today I'm using my makeup to bring to you my Pan That Palette partner update for the month of May. If you're new to my channel or these videos, this year I am panning the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. And every month my girl Angela and I, in collaboration, do these videos, which are our Pan That Palette partner videos. And in these videos, every month we take our Pan That palette and we pair it with another palette or palettes and see how many versatile looks that we can get out of those palettes, give ourselves a little bit more variety in our Pan That palette projects, as well as just keep things fresh, interesting, and get use out of our other palettes. So this month, in case you missed it, I did pair my Emily Edits the Wants palette with my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette for the entire month. Normally, or thus far, Angela and I have each paired one palette for each week of the month, so 4 palettes a month. But this month, I really wanted to just concentrate on Emily here. I sort of omitted on accident this palette from my spring capsule makeup collection, and so in lieu of adding it at such a late date, I decided to pair this with my Jaclyn Hill palette for the entire month. So normally each month I create 12 looks with 4 palettes, but this month I created 12 looks with 1 palette. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I created this month.
First impression, you OPN. We should be closer than friends. If you OPN, engaging you's on my agenda. Request my chariot, get ya. The door's OPN. Take that hot road and hop in. Monarch butterflies, you should open up. I'm trying to put your heart together, found it broken up. Going up in smoke, smoking up. Make sure the children in the house, she's inappropriate. The way she's approaching us, I disassociate. Exfoliate, the renegotiate. She's closing up. Come to visit me, she say that she the loneliest, and it's hard to open up. Open you up like a Pokeball. Open up, tear you out for a Pokeball. Let your emotion waterfall on me. Open up. Open up. Need to deep breathe, heartache complications. Open up. Need to reread our conversation. Got me contemplation over our situation. Open up. You OPN. Bitch, you won't BBM. We should be closer than friends. If you OPN, engaging you's on my agenda. Request my chariot, get ya. The door's OPN. Take that hot road and hop in. Open up, open up. Shut it down like a Macintosh. Open up, open, open. Cold as ice and Coca-Cola. Open up.
Alright, so I hope you enjoyed all of those looks. I really enjoyed creating all of those looks this month. It was a real joy actually to just have one other palette to concentrate on. I really enjoyed pairing this with my Pan That palette this month because there are so many shades in here that are missing from the Jaclyn Hill palette. For example, a good dusty rose shade. This has got to be a #1 transition shade for me. Not this particular one in this palette, which is called Prayer, but in any palette. I just love a good dusty rose shade, so I was really happy to have that this month, as well as kind of a cooler tone brown, almost a taupe shade. This one is called Hobby. I think overall, besides the deep dark mattes in the Jaclyn Hill palette, there's lacking quite a few cool tones in the Jaclyn Hill palette, in my opinion. So the other thing I was really excited about is I really love this shade right here called Pi-Fi. It's a beautiful plum shade, and it is what I'm wearing on the outer corner, outer V of the eye today, along with this shade right here, which is Love Tons Beautiful Berry. And that's the other thing that was really fun this month, is some of these shimmers, like this one, which is called Grateful, a lighter green shade, was really welcome for me during this spring time of the year. I really love a good minty or pastel green. And then also just these shades right here, named for her girls. This particular one named Pizzazz, I really love, and I'm wearing that on the outer part of my lid today. So overall, I enjoyed this entire palette. The only shades I didn't use this month were Midwest, Dues Paid, and Cheer. All good shades, just didn't trip my trigger this month or what have you, but overall I used the rest of the shades at some point during the month, and some of them several times. So for me, this was a complete win when it comes to palette partners. It's the epitome of why Angela and I started this project. Just based on the fact that because there were so many shades in the Emily palette that aren't in the Jaclyn Hill palette, it sort of filled all those gaps that would be there if I was only using my Pan That palette. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Of course, any of you are always welcome to join this little project. If you're panning a palette, please join Angela and I. I feel like even though we're using a different palette with our Pan That palette every single week, we're still making a ton of progress on our projects. And for me, I know after having done 7 days of the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which I will link up in the cards for you, in the cards somewhere, I know that I would be bored of the Jaclyn Hill palette already if I weren't using a palette partner every single week. So I hope you enjoyed the looks. Let's go ahead and talk about the questions that I answer every single month for you. The first question is, what were my favorite looks? What were my least favorite looks? And normally, what are my favorite and least favorite palettes? I had no trouble whatsoever coming up with looks with the Emily palette this month. My favorite look actually is the one that I'm wearing today. I just love how this look came out. It feels springy to me, even though it's a little bit deeper. I think that berry really helps, as well as this beautiful berry lip, which is the Buxom Vava Plump Shiny Liquid Lipstick in the shade Wine Me, little sample guy that my girl Angela gave to me. Probably my least favorite look was the one that I did with the gold all over the lid. If you guys have been here for a little while, you know that I'm not a huge fan of wearing gold on the lid. So I did like a mustardy look with a gold on the lid, and it was okay. I think the other thing that bothered me was by the end of the day, it did not look nice anymore. I wish in retrospect I had taken a picture for you guys, but the whole look just sort of came apart at the seams by the end of the day. It looked really murky and muddy, and things had faded quite a bit. But that was probably my least favorite, and that's just because I'm not a huge fan of gold on my eyes. Now, moving on to the second question is, do I think that my Pan That palette partner for the month helped or hindered my Pan That palette project? And last month I said I honestly wasn't sure or that I was kind of on the fence, that I don't think it necessarily helped, but I also didn't think it hurt my project last month. This month I am certain that my Pan That Palette partner helped me in my Pan That Palette endeavors. I think if for no other reason, it helped my Pan That Palette project because I enjoyed it more. Like I said, I really enjoyed using so many shades in this palette that are completely lacking in the Jaclyn Hill palette. I also paid more attention this month. I had mentioned last month that usually I try to strike a balance between how many shades I'm using from my Pan That palette and how many shades I'm using from its partner for the week. But last month I sort of let that fall by the wayside, and that was why I was kind of on the fence, as if it might have hurt my project a little bit, because I know I used more shades out of the partners than the Pan That palette. But this month I actually felt like I struck a balance for the entire month, except for maybe this look, in which I'm using 2 shades from Jaclyn and 3 shades from Emily.
I feel like they're in competition. It's like Jaclyn versus Emily.
Yeah, I think overall it was pretty even Steven throughout the month. I was a little concerned that I might get bored with the Emily Edit palette, it being my only palette partner for the month of May, and I really didn't. Like I said, there was only a couple of shades that I didn't use. I probably could have worked those colors into other looks, but to be honest, that wasn't really the objective. I just wanted to make notice of the fact that I used most of the shades this month, and I think that just lends to the argument that I really enjoyed this project this month. So overall, I think it helped my Pan That Palette project. You guys will have to be the judge on June 1st when I update you on that project. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. And I will see you in my next video soon.